YouTube, what's going on? Good morning. Good morning. It's 9:01 on the East Coast. Welcome to episode 5 of Top of the Morning Show, hosted by Juan Yadi. How are we doing out there? If you're listening to it on a podcasting platform and not YouTube, how are you doing also? Today is a really good day as the Washington Commanders still riding high after taking down the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Today's show is going to be heavily talked about that, and should the Washington Commanders talk about or start Taylor Heinicke or Carson Wentz? And we'll talk a little bit about the Thursday night matchup that we have to see tomorrow. But man, it definitely still feels good out there, man. And with getting that win. How are you doing this morning? It's 42 degrees outside, so it is really starting to get cold. It's really starting to get cold outside, and I guess winter has arrived. But with that being said, let's get to opening statements. Opening statements is going to start where we talk about the Indianapolis, or not the Indianapolis Colts, right? What am I talking about? Where we're going to be talking about the referees in the Monday Night Football game matchup between the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. The reason why I say Indianapolis Colts is because after we talk about this, after we talk about more of the game and whatnot, we'll talk a little bit about Jeff Saturday and his victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. But the referees, okay, Philadelphia Eagles fans, they are one of the most, I would say, like, spoiled and like most, what's the word I want to look here for? I want to use it nicely. Like, they're the most spoiled and like most like rotten fan base. Like, Monday night, the way they were acting after the loss, the way they were acting during the game, you would have thought that this team just got eliminated from the playoffs. You would have just thought they lost their number one spot in the conference. The way they were acting. We're sitting back like, dude, it's just y'all first loss of the season. Now, I understand it's coming against a division opponent, which sucks if I'm the Eagles. But again, it's your first loss. It's your first division loss. And with that being said, you have an easy schedule, which means you got the Lions next week, but more likely than not, you will get back on track. And they were booing Jalen Hurts and the Eagles off the field. The fans were, you know what I'm saying, booing Nick Sirianni and just throwing tantrums and stuff like that at halftime. And then on Twitter and Instagram after the game was over, they were in their feelings, talking about they acting like they won a Super Bowl, started blaming the referees, just doing whatever because they lost one game. Let me make myself clear. And no, I wasn't around for the 72 Dolphins. But there's no way you looked at those undefeated Eagles and said, oh, they had a chance to beat the 72 Dolphins. There's no way you looked at that and saw that and said that. They were beatable. We exposed them. I mean, the Texans laid out the blueprint, but we took advantage of it. Run the ball on them. And it's not like the Washington Commanders ran it crazy on them. Like, it's not like that happened. But we ran it well enough to soften up that D-line. Okay? Ryan Robinson, 86 yards. Antonio Gibson, 44 yards. They combined for 130 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. So it's not like we were world beaters, but we were definitely consistent on the ground and picking up 4, 3, 4, 5. So the Eagles just didn't play well enough. Like, again, I don't understand why their fans can't just be real. Like, their fan base is just weird, bro. Like, they're weird. They're just a lot, bro. But that's what all Philadelphia sports fans. That's just their sports town, bro. That's how they are. But I don't understand why they can't just accept the loss. Like, no shot to this guy right here, right? Because I listen to it. I listen to it from time to time just because I like this guy that's on that show. But it's this show in Philadelphia. It's a sports show on NBC Sports Philadelphia, right? And he basically was saying, like, yeah, I give the Washington Commanders 0 credit for that win last night. It was all Philadelphia Eagles that beat themselves up. And surprisingly, I didn't listen to it all, but surprisingly, he didn't say anything about the refs. Now, he did mention the missed face mask penalty, which was valid. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't. It was definitely a missed face mask call. Let's not sit here and act like that. Jamin Davis definitely had a hand full of his face mask, but your defense turned around to hold us to 3 points. So, if anything, you want to be mad at how y'all played. You want to be mad at the coaching staff. You want to be mad at your defense, according to Jonathan Gannon, before you try to sit out here and not give the Washington Commanders credit. Try to fully blame the refs. I mean, how about Quez Watkins? Don't fumble. And I'm not going to be mad. I'm not mad. Well, obviously, I'm not mad at the guy. I'm happy it happened. But if I was an Eagles fan, I wouldn't be mad at the guy for getting up trying to get more yards because he wasn't touched. All I would say was be more secure with the ball. But in my case, as a Washington Commanders fan, be careless. And Benjamin St. Juste going to poke it out, which he did. How about A.J. Brown? Show up. 1 reception for 7 yards. That's crazy. How about Fletcher Cox? What's up with him? Why didn't he do anything? He was a non-factor. Even my man John Bates was holding his own against him. That's a tight end. So before Philadelphia Eagles fans start to try to blame, look in the mirror first. Because it's not like the refs were terrible for just you guys, okay? And that's what I keep trying to say. And I don't know if they're not listening, which they probably not because they don't want to listen because they lost. But the refs were bad for both sides. I mean, Benjamin St. Juste, that was good defense. He looked back for the ball. He looked back for the ball, and that should have been pass interference. That was early on too. That allowed the Eagles. I believe it was 3rd down. Could be wrong. I believe it was 3rd down on their opening drive, or if not their opening drive, their second drive, where that because of that Benjamin St. Juste penalty, that allowed them to get their 7 points. And I believe that was their opening drive. If they don't call that, you're punting, and we're getting the ball. So, before they try to blame, look in the mirror. It was bound to happen at some point. Just be glad that it happened now and not later in the season. Or, God forbid, y'all actually would have went undefeated throughout the regular season because y'all would never know how to act in the playoffs. I mean, y'all were overlooking us and y'all were 8-0. The mantra around the building was y'all want to whoop us. So just imagine if they were 17-0, they had a first round bye, and then they came out and played against, like, let's just say the Giants or something. wouldn't be surprised if they would have lost because they didn't face no kind of adversity. Eagles fans, this is some adversity. This is a little adversity that you have to face right now. Doesn't matter, bro. It's just one loss. Stop crying. We were the better team, and that's that. How about the Jahan Dotson offensive pass interference that they called where he was just running his route? That was bogus. I mean, that took away a Curtis Samuel reception that would have probably went to the house. So, for all intents and purposes, the Washington Commanders should have put 40 on the Eagles' head. Looking back at it, we should have put 40 on their head. This game shouldn't even have been close, if we've been honest. If we've been honest, the Washington Commanders should have put 40. If they score, instead of taking a 3 where Scott Turner decided to change the game plan and pass 2 times in a row, if they run twice, they probably score. That's 28. That's 20. You go 28-14. Okay. And then I believe we got another touchdown after that. I think it was the Casey Two-Hill recovery. So let's say 35-40 on them. But there's still some drives that we didn't capitalize on. Like the one where we got delayed a game because we didn't know what we wanted to do on 4th and 1. Yeah. We still got a lot to clean up, but it definitely feels good to finally get a victory inside the division. And what team is it better to knock off than the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles? Now, let's switch gears here and talk about some sad news that we have to report here. And I really didn't want to talk about this, but it's like, how can I not? How can I not? So this past week, end of the week, the sports world was shocked where we found out 3 University of Virginia students got killed on their way from a field trip. But what makes it even more worse was it was an ex-teammate of theirs, or an ex-football player at least. And that hurts because it's like, I mean, when anybody gets killed, it's bad. But it's like someone you probably least expected to do it actually did it. And I don't want to speculate, right? Because that's not what I want to do. But we're gonna read an article basically talking about it. And 2, maybe does this have something to do with him being kicked off the team? Because according to reports, he was kicked off the team due to sexual assault or something like that. I'm not sure, but that's what I saw, and it sucks because whatever happened, whatever his reasoning for it, it didn't have to resolve to you killing 3 people, man. 3 of your teammates, 3 people you know at least. But let's get to the story, okay? So this is according to Washington Post. So this is basically going to be talking about how a UVA class trip ended in gunfire and deaths. Okay, this is written by William Wan of the Washington Post. The alleged gunman stayed to himself during the class trip. Christopher Donnell Jones Jr. didn't talk much to the other University of Virginia students Sunday as they rode a bus together to Washington to see a play and go out for Ethiopian food afterwards. One student said Tuesday, most in the group, which included 5 UVA football players, didn't know Jones, who briefly played himself in 2018. Jones wasn't in their class focused on African American playwrights and Ryan Lynch, a 19-year-old neuroscience major, but he'd been invited along by their professor because he was taking a social justice class with her. Jones, 22, sat apart in the theater as the 24 or so students watch a Mossack theater company play about Emmett Till, whose young life was cut short by racial violence. On the long bus ride back to Charlottesville, while others chatted about the powerful play they had just seen and moved around the bus laughing and bonding, Jones remained in the back. Lynch is a sophomore from Philadelphia, had met Jones only once before when both had tried out to be runaway models for a group on campus called Fashion for a Cause. Neither had ended up joining that fall, seeing him seeing him alone at the back. Lynch said that she went to talk to him for a while and made sure he felt included. And this is quote, "You should try to do Fashion for a Cause again with me in the spring," she remembers saying to him. She returned to her seat towards the front of the bus. They were pulling up to the parking garage next to the Colbreath Theater building when the shooting begins. At first, Lynch said she thought it was a balloon or an overinflated bag of chips popping, but her ears wouldn't stop ringing. Then she smelled the smoke. Gunpowder, she realized as she ducked to the floor and tried to hide by pulling a jacket and blanket over her head. The gunshots kept coming out until they suddenly stopped. Lynch peeked out from under her jacket and watched as someone strode down the aisle. It was Jones in a burgundy sweatshirt he'd been wearing all day. Lynch said he was walking slowly with an odd kind of swagger towards the bus door. Once he got outside, she heard more gunshots being fired. She heard others shouting, "Get off the bus, we have to get off, we have to get off." But as she stood, she saw Laval Davis Jr., a 6'7" wide receiver on the football team, lying face down in the middle of the bus. They had grown close during the semester in theater class. Just minutes before, Davis had been charging his cell phone using her computer and talking about how excited he was to be able to play football again after recovering from a concussion. Now she could see blood seeping from a bullet wound to his head. She and a friend rushed to Davis' side. Her friend took his pulse. It was faint. They started doing CPR, talking to him. All the while, Lynch said she didn't want him to die, and if he did, she didn't want him to feel alone and abandoned. "We're trying to get your help, Laval," this is quoted. She said. She told him, "We're calling you an ambulance." They heard that Professor Theresa Davis yelling, "Get off the bus, we have to get off the bus." Lynch suddenly realized they could still be in danger. She and others ran into the drama building. As several of them hid in one of the bathrooms, they called 911 over and over, and they began trying to understand what had just happened. At UVA on Tuesday, thousands of students were struggling to mass sense of the shooting that left 3 football players dead and a 4th seriously wounded. One female student was injured too. Jones, who sent the campus into lockdown for 12 hours, was arrested Monday after a massive manhunt. Now he's charged with 3 counts of second-degree murder, and any potential motive remains unknown. Theresa Davis, the professor who taught Jones and 3 football players he's accused of killing, did not respond to Washington Post request for an interview. Fifth football player on the trip, the only one unharmed, said he wasn't ready to talk about what happened on the bus. Lynch, who recently transferred to UVA from Hampton University, is the only witness who has spoken publicly. She said there was about 20 students in the African American theater class on a predominantly white campus. One thing that made the course feel special was that a majority of the class was black. Their professor, Lynch said, was charismatic, and the material Copopen playing writing during the civil rights movement, literature on identifying residents and survival like their native son and the rising in the sun. So that's it. That's it. That was the article basically talking about the killing that happened with the UVA football players. It's a very sad situation. Because again, no one knows his why, but I'm pretty sure his why isn't justifying why he killed 3 football players. Okay, and it's very sad that it had to go down like that. And my condolences and prayers are with the family and friends of Laval Davis Jr. I think it's his name. Yeah, Laval Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and Deshaun Perry, and everyone else that was injured and affected by the shooting. But now, with that being said, let's transition to the next segment, as we're going to be talking about Jeff Saturday getting his first win as an NFL head coach. Now, if you guys can recall, that whole week, NFL world was up in all over. They were mad and frustrated. How did Jeff Saturday get a job when you got all these other people out here that's been there doing training camp and been there doing the whole shebang? How is he going to hire Jeff Saturday and not anybody else that has been there with this team all along? And while I do understand where guys like Bill Cowherd or Coach Cowherd, I believe that's his name, from the former Steelers head coach, and everyone else, while I understand their point of view and get what they're trying to say, Jim Irsay is a billionaire, okay? Jim Irsay owns the Indianapolis Colts. At the end of the day, he can do whatever he wants, okay? If you're in control of a team and you feel like you should do this with this team, you can do whatever. It's yours. You bought it. Okay, so again, while I understand where guys like Bill Cowherd and all these other people, other people that didn't like the move of hiring Jeff Saturday, he can do whatever he wants. It's his team. Now, Jeff Saturday gets the job, and he has to go out there and coach. Got to lead his team to victory. And what did he do? He beat the 2-7 in Las Vegas Raiders. Go out there and beat the 2-7 Las Vegas Raiders, who are horrible, or 2-6 now 2-7 Raiders, who are horrible. But nevertheless, he got them a win, and I knew he was going to get them a win. I picked them because with all the noise surrounding him this week, you could just tell he was going to win. And it's the Raiders. Josh McDaniels is horrible, which Mark Davis came out, and I know if you're a Raiders fan, it just deflated everything in your body when you heard that, where Mark Davis, their owner, came on and said, we believe in Josh McDaniels. We hired him. He's the right coach. And he's fantastic and whatnot. I know that just hurt every Raiders fan because they wanted him gone. Okay. But with that being said, they beat the Raiders. Okay. Not a good football team, technically, due to coaching. Obviously, they have a lot of talent. But you still had to go out there and get it done. And you did. So, shout out to Jeff Saturday. I'm interested to see how the rest of this season plays out because a lot of people just assumed the Colts were going to be, not necessarily tanking, but just losing all the rest of their games and possibly getting a quarterback next year or whatnot. But if Jeff Saturday could turn this thing around and actually get these codes back into position, they could possibly not only get back into the AFC South, which I don't see happening because I see Tennessee really running away with it, but they could possibly get a wild card if Jeff Saturday wins, right? But I don't see that happening. They got a tough game versus Philly. Philly's coming off with a loss. Unless Jonathan Taylor goes for 200 yards, I really don't see them beating the Eagles. But hey, Jeff Saturday, you got the win, man. Shout out to you. But again, it's his team, Jerry Mercedes' team. He can do whatever he wants. Now, let's go to the next segment here, where we're going to be giving shout-outs to everyone that's here. Shout out. Let's get it going. Immorph. Yo, what's going on, Immorph? He says, what's up, bro? Hopefully I said your name right. Morris Spence Outdoors. What's going on, Morris Spence Outdoors? I appreciate you for watching Top of the Morning Show, hosted by Juan Gotti. He says, stay blessed, and I hope your day is going well, brother. Yeah, you too, man. My day is just starting. You know what I'm saying? I was going to come on here a little bit early. I may do that Friday. I was going to come on here like 7 a.m. I might do that Friday just to see if more people come on that earlier. But I appreciate the comment, and I hope you're doing well too, man. I'm doing well. Stay blessed also. Morris Spence Outdoors. I appreciate you for being Whiskey, Whiskers, and Hogs. Sorry. Told you my dad was right. Upset. Yeah, your dad picked the upset. I picked us to win. Like I did. I use reverse psychology. I said we're going to win, but I'm going to pick us to lose because every time I've done that so far, we've won. Shout out to your dad. Whiskers and Hogs, 36 here in Marshall, VA. Yeah, it's really cold outside, but it's 36 in VA. Whew. Hopefully you stay warm. Brian Harding, what's going on, Brian Harding? What's going on, BH? Appreciate you for being here watching, listening to Top of the Morning Show hosted by Juan Gotti. BH says Heinicke got blessed with the chains. Players picked him up going forward, or picked him going forward. Now, let me say something about the chains, okay? And that's how I really felt. I was looking at it when I first saw it. I'm like, I don't really like it because that's the Vikings. You know, that's what they came up with. That's what they decided to do along their win streak. And we kind of stole their swag. Like we kind of, you know what I'm saying, copied them. And I'm like, we ain't even got no chains like they got. Like we had the Little Jones. Okay, we had the Little Jones. They had the big chains, you know what I'm saying? Ain't even look right. I ain't gonna lie. So I really wasn't feeling that we copied the Vikings with that, but I mean, it is what it is, right? DeAndre Taylor, sorry. My man, DeAndre Taylor, what's going on? How you doing, bro? Top of the morning to you. Donnell Jenkins, Cowboys fan. Top of the morning, bro. What's going on, Donnell Jenkins? How you doing, man? Top of the morning to you. Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you for being here. We Not Me TV. Fletcher Cox needs to hang it up. Yeah, Fletcher needs to go, man. Appreciate you for being here listening to Top of the Morning Show. He was, I guess he got cut early in the offseason, but they brought him back for one more year. So he may be gone next year. DeAndre Taylor says referees didn't get Hurts sacked on 3rd and 8 with 2 minutes to go. Exactly. And they want to cry about the Heinicke giving himself up, and they gonna call a flag on that. First of all, you got to be smart in that situation. You see him giving himself up, so don't make no contact with him. Okay, two, you got to be smarter than that because you know how the referees were calling all game. You know they were going to call something like that if it's close. You know that they've been calling like that all game for both sides. So why even put yourself in a predicament to even draw a flag? Well, not draw a flag, but cause a flag. Heinicke did a good job of selling it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. He sold it, but he definitely did make contact with him. And you can't do that when the person is giving himself up. So tough nubs for the Eagles, man. Big RJ 97. What's good, Big RJ 97, man? How you doing? He says, proud of the defense these last few weeks. Yeah, defense has been balling, man. I would say probably since like week 3 or week 4 rather. Defense gave us a chance every single game. Shout out to Big RJ. Appreciate you for listening to Top of the Morning Show. Sir Philly. We got a Philadelphia Eagles fan in here. Got to let Wentz start. I appreciate you, Sir Philly, for listening to the Top of the Morning Show hosted by Juan Gotti. If you're new, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to roll to 5,000, subscribe to that. Subscribe again if you haven't already. Sir Philly says, got to let Philly start, or got to let Wentz start. Yeah, nah. I don't know. We'll get to that after this, and then we'll call it a day. Wentz is now the offense. What do you say? Wentz is new to the offense, and has to get higher upside. Give him time to grow with this squad. Alante, how you doing, Alante? I appreciate you for coming through, man. Hope all is well with you this morning. Appreciate you for listening to the Top of the Morning. Why? Good morning, why? How you doing? Top of the morning to you. Appreciate you for watching and listening to Top of the Morning Show. About one guy. What happened? Basically, it was a shooting at the University of Virginia. 3 football players ended up getting killed. That's what happened. Your new stepdad. Appreciate you for listening to Top of the Morning Show, hosted by Juan Gotti. Appreciate you for being here. I hope all is well with you this morning. Your new stepdad says, Commanders whoop Philly. Wentz is a new. Wentz is a good as done, sir. Philly. Appreciate you for listening to your new stepdad. Feel the burn. Good morning to you. I appreciate you for listening to Top of the Morning Show, hosted by Juan Gotti. He says, morning, Juan. Morning. Feel the burn. How you doing today? Appreciate you for coming through, listening to Top of the Morning. Kevin the PRF. Morning, Kevin the PRF. I appreciate you for coming through, listening to Top of the Morning Show, hosted by Juan Gotti. Your new stepdad says, wake up, Juan. Put some biscuits on that menu. I wish I had some biscuits, man. Fats 35. I appreciate you for coming through, listening to Top of the Morning Show, hosted by Juan Gotti. He says, yeah, I wasn't feeling that either, Juan. Brian Harden says, kind of like bringing our own benches after the Cowboys did it. Yeah, I'm saying. I was like, okay, even when we did that, I wasn't feeling that. Kind of like, we got to find our own thing. You know what I'm saying? We can't be stealing people's stuff. We got to find our own thing. St. Juice and Forest are some dogs, man. Yeah, they're really good. You know what I'm saying? St. Juice CB1. When he gets better ball skills, bro. When he get better ball skills, St. Juice is gonna be like that. Joe Rockhead J. Appreciate you for listening to Top of the Morning Show, hosted by Juan Gotti. Appreciate you, Joe Rockhead J, for being here. He says, good morning, Juan. That swag jacket shows how really salty the guys were after the loss to the Vikings. Not a good look, but understand the emotion. Yeah, and I mean, again, it's not that serious as a Minnesota Vikings player. I don't even know who this guy is. I don't know. His name's like Boyd or something. He got really in his feelings about it. Like, he took it to heart, bro. It was not that serious. He was mad. I'm like, bro, first of all, who are you? Like, do you get in the game? Apparently, he's a good cornerback. Didn't see him out there when we played him. But he was mad. Like, he was acting like, you know what I'm saying? They get paid for doing that. If we been technical rather, Ryan Fitzpatrick started the whole thing when he was in Tampa. If we been technical. So it's not that serious, but I still don't like that we did it. That's jacking, bro. That's jacking they swag. Hey, I wouldn't have done it. But hey, it's not that big of a deal. Alante says Derek is a dog. Yeah, Derek Force is nice. Hopefully he can keep it up. Jalen 106. What's going on, Jalen 106? I appreciate you for coming through, listening to Top of the Morning Show hosted by Juan Gotti. Appreciate it, Jalen 106 says good morning. Good morning, Jalen. How you doing, bro? Santana Jackson. I appreciate you for listening to Top of the Morning Show hosted by Juan Gotti. He says, damn, I was so fired up on that game against Philly. I ran into my door and scarred up my shoulder when Superfly Sly kicked that 58-yard field goal. Santana. Santana, come on, Santana. You can't be going on the injury reserve right now, man. Now, I don't know how serious the shoulder is, man, but we need you out there, man. Now you're probably going to be a limited participant throughout the week. Going to probably be a game time decision because of the shoulder. May tighten up on you next tomorrow. Got to take it easy, Santana. We need you for this stretch, man. You know, as Ron would say, though, I'm gonna get with the trainers, see what they says. Got a good feeling about you this Sunday, but you know what I'm saying? You got a little bit of work in today, but it's all about how you feel tomorrow, man. Hopefully that shoulder's not too serious, man. We need you for this stretch, man. But hey, Santana, I'm not mad at you. Santana says, but I'm proud of my boys for getting us that big win, and I hope we keep that momentum going when we go and see Houston. Yeah, because again, Houston is 1-6-1, but they're not no sleeper team. They're basically the team that put the blueprint out to beat the Eagles. 1 and 2, they're going to get a second win at some point, and let's just hope it's not against us. We're the type of team to allow it, though. So hopefully we can take care of business. DeAndre Taylor says, I still think we need to draft a CB1. I agree with Rico. BSG can be an elite cornerback too, but we need a quick, twitchy corner in the draft. Guard, speed receivers, route runners, and receivers. Keep juice on the big boys. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. I actually said we should draft a cornerback, you know, in this year's draft. So I wouldn't be mad at that. But I definitely think Bridgewater St. Juice has the potential to play cornerback. Santana says, hey, bro, it wasn't a serious injury, and it was well worth it, bro. Hey, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I know it wasn't a serious injury, but still, we're going to take it easy with you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all about how you feel about tomorrow, and we'll go about it from there. That's the truth of the matter. Chris on the beat, I appreciate you for listening to Top of the Morning Show hosted by Juan Gotti. Appreciate you for coming through. Chris on the beat says, we can go 8-5 easy with the next 3 games. Chris. If anybody know, you should know. Nothing's easy with this team. Because as easy as we can go 8-3 in the next 3 games, we can lose all 3 of those games. 1 and 2. With you said we can go 8-3, we can easily go 8-3. We should be 7-3 right now. We beat the Titans. We beat Minnesota. We 7-3 right now. But as they shown you, you can't say that. You can't say we should or we can easily, because this team never makes anything easy. Like, although we should be able to do that because of the talent on this team and the schedule we have coming up, it's not a guarantee. Joe Rockhead J says, whether they admit it or not, the whole NFC was rooting for us to win. You all are welcome. Now kiss the rings. Joe Rockhead J says, yeah, the whole NFC was rooting for us because they wanted us to finally beat the undefeated team. I would say the whole NFL probably was rooting for us, not any Eagles fans. Anybody that's not an Eagles fan probably was rooting for us, the whole NFL. Kevin the PRF says, we need another outside and a slot. Well, considering the fact how well Kendall Fuller is, they're probably going to keep him for 1 more year because he signed a 4-year contract, so they're going to play him throughout his contract. So they're probably going to draft just 1 corner, if anything, next year. So we'll see how that turns out. But Joe Rockhead J said, on a QB and a CB until I realized that almost all of our offensive line starters are OLD. Yeah, we could go line too. But that's it for the shout out segment. Let's get to the final segment of today, where we're going to talk about QB battle. Who should start for the Washington Commanders, Taylor Heinicke or Carson Wentz? And Ron Rivera basically came out and said he doesn't know who he wants to start yet. He doesn't know who he wants to start at quarterback. He said that we'll see where Carson is. He should be coming back this week for practice. But the way he was talking, it kind of felt like he was double talking, but also was kind of leaning towards starting Taylor Heinicke. Because he brought up the momentum. He brought up how the guys rally around him. He brought up everything that just pointed towards Taylor Heinicke. This team loves Taylor Heinicke, bro. This team rallies around Taylor Heinicke. Everyone plays hard for Taylor Heinicke. And he went 3-1 through this stretch while Carson's was absent. You can't do nothing but start him. You have to start him. He gives you the best chance to win. Carson Wentz doesn't. And hopefully Ron Rivera sees that. I mean, I don't think Carson Wentz wins that game Monday night. I don't think Carson Wentz wins that Green Bay game. I think if Carson Wentz still was starting and he wasn't healthy, we probably would be out of the playoffs. Not technically, but technically. Because he just lacks the ability to run. Like, that's my biggest concern is if he had Taylor Heinicke's mobility, I would not have a problem starting him. But consider the fact of combining his lack of mobility and the offensive line being not that good, it's only being better because of Taylor Heinicke's ability to, escape some pressure. And Trey Turner's finally healthy, but combining those two, that's not good. And I don't think that's setting this team up for success. So I feel like you have to go with Taylor Heinicke. He's the better quarterback. It's only right to go with Taylor Heinicke. But we'll talk more about that in a video later today. Let's get to the final segment of the day, and that is Thursday Night Football preview. As we have trying to bring it up here. As we have Titans Packers tomorrow, which now may actually be a good game. And with the Packers getting a big win versus Dallas, which who didn't see that coming? I knew that was going to happen. The Packers with a win now put themselves in a position to get a wild card spot. If they get a win, I think and I know this may sound crazy, but I think they're the better team. Titans coming in at 6-3, Packers coming in at 4-6. Aaron Rodgers had himself a good game last Sunday. Christian Watson had himself a breakout game. So this may actually be a really good game. I'm interested to see if the Titans can get Derrick Henry going. So this could be a good game, but make it quick. I'm going to go Packers, and I think they're going to win. We'll take a couple more comments and then we'll get out of here. Also, the sports says, hail to the Washington Commanders. Hail to Washington Commanders, Awesome Sports. How you doing, Awesome Sports? I appreciate you for being here listening to the Top of the Morning Show, hosted by Juan Gotti. Kevin PRF says, 2. Wentz gets a raw deal early on slants. Committed to the run. Wentz never gets that. Brian Harder says, Terry's targets will suffer with Wentz in there. Yeah, I think it may. I don't know. I honestly don't. Possibly. But another reason that I didn't mention as to why we should not put Carson back out there is because the draft pick that we possibly could lose. If you play 70% of the snaps, we got to get the Colts that our second round pick. So they got to take that into consideration when Ron talks to Scott and Ken Zampese when making this decision. Three, Kevin PRM says starting Heinicke means you have two starting QBs, and if you have two starting QBs, you have none. Heinicke will be looking over his shoulder whatever the coaching staff says. I hope we can continue. Santana Jackson says, I hope we can continue building the O-line because the O-line is on point. Then the offense will be smoking with our receivers and running backs. Yeah, we definitely need to build this offensive line back up. But with that being said, it's the end of the episode 5 of Top of the Morning Show, hosted by Juan Gotti. Friday is going to be a good one as we have preview picks and predictions for Friday as the Sunday games will be happening or coming up. And then we got Thursday night leftovers, or Thursday night review, I should say. So yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your morning. I hope you guys stay safe out there and stay warm. Enjoy the rest of your morning. As always, it's me, boy, Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, help to Washington Commanders and the NFL. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button, man. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. And if you're listening to this on the podcasting platform, please leave me a 5-star rating. And also, try to catch it live. It's episode 5. We're going fast. Before you know it, it'll be episode 20, 30, 40, 50. Hope to see you guys there Friday. As always, it's me, boy, Juan Gotti. Hey.